Hi guys, welcome back to Pillars in the Shop. All right, so you're not used to seeing me without sunglasses, but today's pretty overcast. And my shop's not terribly dark, but it's dark enough. I don't have big high intensity lights. So I'm gonna wear the clear glasses. You can see what it looks like normally. The project I'm gonna work on, I've already tried to do it once, and I made about every mistake there was. Basically what it is trying to make some jack-o'-lanterns off some scrap lumber. Something like this right here. I've seen it done and I wanted to do my own version of it. I come up with a few ideas that I thought would make it a little easier and a little better. But what I didn't, a mistake I made, the lumber I used on that one had a live edge on it. And the live edge is where one edge of the lumber looks like it was where bark was. And so the lumber is not square on the end like it is on this one. It comes down, it slides down to a point where that bark was. Because of that, I couldn't get anything even close to square. So I just kind of nailed it all up and glued it the best I could. It's pretty rinky-dink. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to make knockoffs that you could go to Hobby Lobby or Walmart or any place else and buy them, or they're factory made in a jig and they're all perfect, all exactly the same. I'm not trying to do that. But I want, a little bit of craftsmanship in it, and I think that in there didn't meet up to what most people want in their house. Maybe, I'm gonna put it out there because Candace said, hey, she loved it. She said she wouldn't have a problem at all putting it in her house. And I'll show you a picture of it. But point is now, I'm going to make my second attempt at making one of these. And I have wood now, like I said earlier, that has a square edge on it. And I'm looking that way because I have a second camera over there. But it has a square edge on it. And so I should have a lot better luck at squaring everything up. So I'm gonna try to make it all out of the lumber I have right here in front of me. And I think it'll work. I think, I know it'll work. I think I take my time, cut them correctly. And I think it's gonna look pretty good. Anyway, I'm sitting there babbling. Let's get started. So I'm gonna try to use the lumber I have here, because I need 4 pieces. There's gonna be box shape. Let's see, box shape. And with a top and a bottom on it, and the top will be removable. I'll probably put a piece of limb in there, make it look like a stem, like I did on some other projects. We did some little pumpkins and some little owls. Not the owls, but the pumpkins. We put little stems in out of cedar branches. And so I'll probably put one in this as well to maybe something to grab and pick it up. Put a candle in it. Most likely one of those electronic candles. I put a live candle, a real candle in that first one I made, just see how it looked. And I liked the way it looked, but the top got so hot. So you'd either have to not put the top on it or not use a live candle, using a LED type candle. Anyway, so the lumber I have here, I'm gonna try to make these, and they're all gonna be pretty much the same because it should be square. So I'm gonna cut these at 11 and a half. I'm gonna try to avoid nail holes because this is lumber off of pallet lumber, reclaimed pallet lumber. And I'm gonna try to, I'll have some nails holes in it, but I'm gonna try not to have too many. It's just my preference. But I think if I do them 11 and a half, I'm gonna get one, I can have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5. I can get them all out of these boards I have here in front of me. I'm gonna explain this here in a minute. All these boards in front of me, and like I said, there'll be some nail holes in them, but you know, it's reclaimed lumber, and that's what I want to use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my first one 11.5, and after I do that, then I'm going to put a stop block on my chop saw so that they all come out pretty much exactly the same. Well, not pretty much, they should come out exactly the same. The one thing about that chop saw is that they're not quite going to cut these completely all the way through. I'll actually have to, if I'm not cutting them, it'll go about 90% of the way through, and then I'll have to lift it up to finish it up. I mean, I have a much bigger chop saw, but to make 5 cuts, I really don't want to pull it out right now. Because I pull it out, I pull out the vacuum because I'm trying to control dust as much as I can. So we're gonna make this work. It's gonna be okay. So here we go. Let's get started on it. Bring my saw over here. We'll get these kind of out of the way until we need them. We'll get them as we, ouch, that's a splinter. Get them as we need them. And what I can do now, actually, I don't have to wait till I cut the first one. You can. You got 2 ways you can put a stop block in. You can cut your first one. Say I want to cut 11.5 and it comes out 11 and 5/8 or 11 and 3/8. It doesn't matter, so they're all the same. But that's when you could put a stop block in there. Or you can go ahead. I'm going to lock this down in place. And I'm going to use a I don't know what y'all call these. I always call them plumbing not tape measure, but a plumber, golly, I can't even think of what I would call it. Anyway, I plumbed with my dad before I went to work in the power plants, and these is what we use most of the time, is these type of measuring sticks. So what I can do is, though, I can go ahead and get my 11.5 and get my stop block on there, and then I'll be way ahead. I'll already have what I want there. So that's about 11.5. And what I'm doing is I'm going from this side of my saw blade over to here, because when you cut it, that's going to make your piece of wood that long. For a stop block, I'm going to use this. There's a couple different ways I can put it on here. I can put it on there like this. And take a big clamp. And I can clamp it from the back. Or I can do it, well, there we go. I can do it like this. Pull it up tight to the bottom. That way I know it's level. And put this on there. And there you go. There's your stop block at 11.5 inches. So as long as it doesn't move, the stop block doesn't move, every board's going to be the exact same length. And that'll help me to make I don't want to say perfectly square, because it won't be perfectly square, but that will help me to make a square, as square as I care, jack-o'-lantern. Square jack-o'-lantern. Most times they're round. That's the old joke, old mathematics joke. Pi or square, no pi or round. I used to work with a guy and he thought that was the funniest thing in the world. Let me get my vacuum hooked up here. We'll take the first one. I'm gonna look at it, see which way I want to come off of it. Either way, I'm gonna have nail holes in it. I think I'm going to cut it from this end. See, I'll ease it up there. You know, the deal is here, I don't really like this. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I want to use this hand here to pull the saw down, and this hand here to manipulate the wood. And it's going to cause me to do this right here. I don't want to do that. So we're going to regroup. We're going to put our stop block on the other side. And that should keep me from having to cross my hands over. So we're going to take our expandable wooden plumbing ruler, as I call it, and we're going to measure the other side the same way we measured the left side, same way we measured the right side. So I'm going to call it 11 and a half. We'll take our block over here. And we'll clamp it with our big clamp. And I think I have a second one I put on just to make sure it don't move on me. I don't think it will. So now, that's pretty solid. All right. Go back to where we were at. Again, I'm going to cut. I want to save this side. So now I got it to where I can keep my hand away from it and still work the button, the power button, bring it down and cut the wood. And I'm much happier with that. All right, let's start with the first one. Number one. Now see, they'll all be the same length because they're all going to bump up to that stop block. I'm going to cut one more with it, then I'm going to go ahead and get them cut, and I'll make you sit through the rest of it. Once I get them all cut, we'll come back and see about putting them together. Well, we ain't ready to put them together. We got to do a face on one before we nail them all together. But we'll kind of stand them up to see how it's going to look. All right, watch your ears, watch your eyes. That's two. All right, let me get the other ones cut and we'll be right back. This vacuum does get a bunch of it, but it doesn't get all of it. But it gets a bunch. But I'm gonna do a little housekeeping here, and then we'll get the face made. Now you gotta decide which one I'm gonna do the face with. Try not to take away from the face with any nail holes. Nothing. This is the only piece I got. It doesn't have any holes in it. So we're going to put the face in this one. And I have a trick for that. You know, I don't come up with too many tricks because I'm not very smart, but I came up with this one. But I'm sure other people done it a long time before I did. See, that's the when I did the first one. All right, so what I'm going to do is, I was hoping to find my other, there it is, no, yeah, leftover piece that was big enough. Is it big enough? My golly, I think it is. So, I'm going to put this on this paper, then I'm going to trace it out. All right. So that's the size of our face, the front of it. Every time I touch something, I drop something. Doesn't matter how many shelves I got or anything. Doesn't matter. All right, so I'm gonna cut this one out. All right. Now the plan is what I did with the first one. I folded it in half. I don't know if it's gonna work because I got it so crooked. As you can see, I folded it in half. Now the plan is to draw a face on here. It's kind of like when you was a kid in school, grade school, you'd fold a piece of paper in 2, 4, 6, 8 folds, whatever. Then cut out along the edges some sort of design with a pair of scissors. Then when you open it back up, it looked like a snowflake and everything was symmetrical. Well, that's what I'm gonna do here. Instead of trying to match the left eye and the right eye, and the left side of the smile, the right side of the smile, I'm just gonna draw half the smile on this side of the paper, half the nose on this side of the paper, and one eye. And what that should do is when I cut it out, I'll cut it out with like an X-Acto knife or a utility knife, and then trace it on this board that I just got the measurement off of. Take it over there to my saw and cut it out. It should look symmetrical. Should look kind of, hopefully better than my first one did. But I'm not going to, this time, the first one I made everything kind of small, which makes it harder, and I try to add teeth, which makes it harder. I'm gonna keep this one pretty simple. All right, guys, this is going to be the face of our jack-o'-lantern. Now, it looks good on paper. Whether or not I can get that transferred to this, the scroll saw, remains to be seen. But we will try. Okay, well, that's it. That's what it's going to look like on the board, but I don't mean that's what it's going to look like on the saw when I get through with it. So what I'll go ahead and do as well is I will drill some holes in it. I'll drill some holes in it. I hope y'all can see it. But I'll drill some holes in it to help get my blade in there and also to maneuver my blade around. And I'll have a camera set up on it so y'all can see what I'm doing, how bad I'm messing it up. But you have to have at least one hole in each one to get your scroll saw blade in there. If not, you got to cut across. You don't want to do that. That'll mess up your whole face. Neither. Me get me a drill bit out. I'll drill some holes in it, and we'll be back. All right. I've got the holes drilled in it. All right, we're going to take it over there to the scroll saw and see what I can do with it.